Grand rising, love and immunity, beloveds. Thou art to serve no other God but the living God. See, a lot of people don't understand that the living God is genetic. The living God knows that this part of his existence ensures this part of his existence. It ensures the trinity of life. And some people don't believe in the trinity. The trinity that I'm talking about is mortality, immortality, and eternity. The living God always understands that his womb, which is his body, and his spirit, which is what you can call his semen or his bloodline, however you want to see it, he always ensures that his body stays the book right here of life's existence. Everybody knew this since the beginning of time. This is why they were always trying to destroy the firstborn son. But when we think about everything, it has nothing to do with the son. It has to do with the blood, because the blood is energy. The blood is a registry. The blood is an existence that will forevermore create life in the body unless it perishes its bloodline. You know, the seed of David, a seed. Remember, it's the soil, the seed, and the fruit. The soil, the seed, and the fruit. And if you come from a good soil, you will always be able to keep that bloodline alive. You see, any bloodline that breaks the law of the living God, see, the living God is energy. The living God is not man's laws. The living God is energy. And anyone who does not break that law will inherit the earth. Okay? That's why it said you are not to honor any other God but the living God. You see, we have gods. Words are gods. All words are gods. Okay? A word like black, white, Hispanic, Asian, they're gods as well. I'm a god as a black person. But what curse comes with that word? What curse comes with that word? See, one thing we cannot do is kill, steal, and destroy life. When you understand this, you should know who you are. You should know who you are. By your fruit, you will be known. See, your mind is the book of this life. And you are the fruit. Like some were the seed of David. The seed of David had a story about how it walked in spirit for his seed, which is his child. Every kingdom, a lot of people don't know that the only kingdom that exists is the body. The first kingdom is the body. Remember, it told us when it returns back onto us, it will come in the spirit of the Father of the beginning. Every kingdom is a body. You don't have any understanding of life without a body to give you eyes to see life's existence. Life's existence. And then in our mother's womb, it sends this truth before us, because in order to have a body, you have to be able to come through life's existence. You have to be able to come through a living kingdom. Okay? And one thing about a living kingdom is a living kingdom or a living God cannot be destroyed. He knows that in order for his child, which is his living kingdom, to walk upon this earth, it has to be an internal legacy to life's existence. It cannot have sold its soul to other gods. Okay? Another god, and this is going to offend many people, but you have to understand, it's not about, it told you the devil was a liar. The only thing, it says God is not a man that he can lie to you. See, God is not a man because he's 100% spirit. 100% spirit, which is energy. He's indestructible. He will never be able to be taken down. or she or it, whatever you call your God. Okay, because it is a passage, a rite of passage of right. God is a passage of right, which means it is the only right to this body having access to this earth. Okay, and that access is granted only in a legacy. Okay, remember God said, touch not my anointed. That's the legacy. The anointed is the legacy, like Jesus. Jesus represented the spirit. He represented this kingdom. Moses represented this kingdom. And Lot represented this kingdom. They represented the Trinity. Lot showed you how to understand. When he was speaking about Sodom and Gomorrah, he was teaching you how the gods of the body use life's existence. When Moses was all these as one. Moses was all of them. Moses was telling you how to understand the Red Sea, which is the bloodline. He was teaching us about the bloodline. He was teaching us about the Pharaoh spirit, which is the bloodline of man. And he was also teaching us about the Christ bloodline, which is the bloodline of life's existence, the living God. Remember the staff and the rod? The staff and the rod is this right here and this right here. These two. They're genetic. This is the book of life, your cell, and your blood is the existence that will ensure that you become that fruit. You'll stay that seed, and that soil will never, ever, ever become a bad soil, produce a bad fruit. By your fruit, you will be known. See, the thing about outwardly is that you will understand. This is why God says, or the biblical story tells you, God knows your heart. Okay, you can be anything on this outside appearance. You can be the ugliest person inside of somebody's perceptions, inside of somebody's reality about you. But inwardly, remember, it says, beware of false prophets. Inwardly, they are not genetically life's existence. See, man sees things outwardly, but life sees things inwardly. Remember, God said, guard your heart through the issues of life flow. And then when you understand that your heart is electrical and it pumps the blood, okay? It's telling you right there, your spirit, okay? Your spirit is telling you that your spirit is your legacy. The kingdom of heaven lives within you. We don't live outwardly. In order to live outwardly, we would have to have been born outside of our mother's womb. Okay? We live inwardly. The same way we came onto this earth, it was through life. The same way we go out of this earth is through life. That's why you honor no other God but the living God. Because one thing you cannot do to a body of a book, which of life's existence, is you can't kill it. It's the genetic makeup of everybody's right to be here. It's the genetic right to everybody's right to be here. You see, man, or this perception of your knowledge, does not understand this, because in order to be, remember, Hosea 4:6 said, my people, you perish for lack of this knowledge. If you reject my knowledge, I will reject your children's 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 children's. You know that all children must come through this bloodline, come through this cell to become a body. See, God's knowledge is not about ancestry. God's knowledge is about the law. See, a lot of y'all don't understand that in order to be in that book of life, your bloodline, not your ancestry. As long as you think about your ancestry and you understand that some ancestors enslaved people, some ancestors killed people, some ancestors hung people, some ancestors did very bad things to the evolution of the body of life's existence, which is our walk here on this earth. Okay? We don't leave the world a better place, because in order to get to this world, to have dominion over this world, we have to be a living God's seed. You know, the seed of David was Jesus. The seed of David was Jesus. You have to be a bloodline of something that never broke that law and prophesied a Messiah would come through their bloodline. And see, many people think that the Messiah is going to be a man. No, the Messiah is going to be a body that kept that cellular law in their bloodline. Remember, God said, who knows the heart is wicked? You see, before man turns into man in his mother's womb, man has the same vagina like the woman. The seed chooses the image and likeness of that body. The seed chooses the image and likeness of that body. The seed chooses the image and likeness of the body. Okay? That's how man and woman is found out in the gestation. We both come in with the same genital acknowledgement, just a body of a cellular element. But the seed, the memory of the God that came from the beginning of that bloodline. And see, a lot of people don't understand. Nobody's bloodline originated from a race or sex or culture. The bloodline originated from the element, which was the spirit, the cell, and the body. That's the first descendant of life, the body. The body is the first descendant of life, or ascension. I can't say descendant because it didn't come from death. It ascended from life, and it turned itself into an image and likeness, which is a form. In our mother's womb, we get to see this beautiful gestation take place. Okay? And we are to serve no other God. Why? Because when we realize that in order to get into this body, we have to be a book of life. In order to come into the gestation of life, we have to be a living kingdom. We have to be a living kingdom. Okay? So that tells us that when we come into our mother's womb, it tells us fearfully and wonderfully made. I already knew the plans I had for you. So that tells us that when we come into our mother's womb, it's literally telling us that our mother's womb is the incubator of life. Our mother's womb is the gestation of our right to be here. So the mother would be the legacy. To be honest, the mother would be the legacy. And if you come through, Lord, if you can come through her womb, thank you, Lord. If you can come through her womb, if you can come through, I'm coming. If you can come through her womb, if you have been chosen to come through a mother's womb, that is a legacy, a ascension to a fruit that can produce the seed of life, you will understand that soil all the way down to the beginning of time. And see, a lot of people think that it is generational. And I can't tell you that it's generational. Because if you want to understand what something generational is, it's a scripture that it says you were written in the registry. Okay? Everything that we do as a spirit is written in the registry. Everything that we do as a spirit, as a bloodline, is written in the registry of ourselves. Okay? So if you became a god of ancestry, like astrology, if you became a god of any other form of knowledge, you're written in a registry. And this registry is what keeps that knowledge alive. And you come here and then you can prophesize it. Okay? Astrologers, they created the knowledge of astrology. But one thing that cannot ever be killed, stealed, or destroyed is the bloodline of life. We can call it the seed of David, because that seed will always create the Messiah. And it will already know the prophecy that is meant to be fulfilled at a certain time of the mortal, immortal, and eternal gestation of the body of life's existence. Okay? It's not going to prophesy for man, the Son of Man. It's always going to prophesy for the Spirit, the Father, and the Son, which is the soil, the seed, and the fruit. Because this kingdom, the Trinity, is forevermore. It knows that the only way you will never be perished, my people, you perish because of lack of this knowledge, is if you keep your soil, your seed, and your fruit in the law of life's existence. It doesn't matter about the ancestry. It matters about the law of one. Jesus knew this, the law of spirit. The law of spirit. Not the law of man, but the law of spirit. Because that will be the one that will always inherit the earth. It already knew on this day for such a time as this, I will be prophesying. It says, my sons and my daughters in the end of days, they will be prophesying in my name. And one thing that we have to understand is it's indestructible. It cannot be killed, stolen, or destroyed. That's the eternal, immortal covenant with life. Life is the only access we have for our body to exist. Life is the only access we have for our body to exist. So if we ever broke that covenant or sold our souls to other God, then that God, we owe the Lord's Prayer, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I'll continue this message when I return.